Guilty Gear is a franchise renowned for having some of the most unique and interesting character designs across all fighting games, sporting representation for tons of ideas, cultures, playstyles, and identities. And this is no different in Guilty Gear Strive. With Season 2 of Guilty Gear Strive coming to a close, we now have a total of 24 playable characters, ranging from a hulking behemoth who will crush you underneath his weight, an insanely fast ninja who darts across the screen with mix-up after mix-up, an all-powerful wizard who casts a wide array of spells to dominate the battlefield, and much, much more. This is part 1 of a series of videos I'll be releasing over the next few months covering every single colorful character this game's roster holds, and I'll be releasing these videos in batches of 5 characters each, then compiling the videos into a full guide at the end. Additionally, each character will be timestamped, so if you already know what characters interest you the most, you can jump around and watch the sections most important to you. This video also runs the risk of becoming outdated with new balance patches and character releases, so I will be releasing new additions to this video every time a season pass concludes. And if a character receives balance changes important enough to make a part of my video obsolete, I will mention it in a pinned comment below. Without further ado, let's get into analyzing the wonderful cast of characters that Guilty Gear Strive provides for us. The titular Guilty Gear himself, Soul Badguy is an aggressive, all-out fighter who strikes fear in the hearts of his opponents with his strong and well-rounded toolkit. Soul features a kit similar to a traditional Shoto character, but with a more offensive focus. His buttons, while shorter range than a lot of the cast, are extremely quick and hard to whiff punish, and reward him with excellent damage on hit and consistent scary strike throw on block. Of note is his Far Slash, a quick forward-advancing mid that is +2 on block, cancelable into his highest damage frame trap, 5H, a wild haymaker that beats your opponent's life bar into submission, and forces them to stand still, at which point, Soul can use his exceptional throws to make them squirm and reinforce those frame traps. Soul's Wild Throw is a high-damage, untechable command grab that side-switches the opponent on connect, and Soul's regular throw, while seemingly just a normal throw, actually gives Soul enough advantage to go for a very powerful left-right mix-up that can be extremely tricky to defend against. In neutral, Soul tends to play the role of the aggressor, but his kit affords him a lot of ways to do so. Soul has a quick and consistent dash block, letting him safely get in on zoners, many fast-moving special moves that can let him swing in for a surprise counter hit in the blink of an eye, a long-reaching poking tool in 6S to keep opponents from getting too comfortable at mid-range, an excellent whiff punisher in 6H, and amazing air mobility options such as Bandit Bringer, a dive kick that can be held to extend its duration and mix up its timing, making it exceptionally hard to anti-air. Soul is also a monster on defense, as his Volcanic Viper allows him to become completely invulnerable immediately and escape out of pressure, and his 5K is tied as the fastest normal in the entire game at 3-frame startup. A key trait of Soul's toolkit is adaptability. His low whiff recovery normals allow him to counterpoke safely, his fast mobility options let him swing in quick, his normals let him play neutral competently with almost every character in the game, and overall, he has a lot of room to adjust his playstyle in the middle of the match if what he was trying before wasn't working. Soul can struggle to get in against characters that have good screen coverage and has to put himself at risk to go for mix-ups, but these downsides are very much avoidable in the hands of the right player. If huge hits, an adaptable kit, and scaring your opponent to death is your thing, then Soul Badguy, the Flame of Corruption, might be the right character to kindle your fire. Kiske, the first king of Illyria and the rival to Soul Badguy, takes a different spin on the Shoto archetype than his hothead in-law. Where Soul zeroes in on ruthless pressure and offense, Kai instead takes a step back and refines a more distinguished attribute, one fitting of a king. Absolutely disgustingly good neutral. Kiske is the king of Illyria, and the king of the neutral game as well. Kai's numerous ranged pokes all have great range, speed, and are notoriously hard to whiff punish. In addition, Kai is able to get clean and consistent knockdowns off of these stray neutral hits thanks to Stun Dipper, and on block, he can cancel into his Stun Edge or Direct Cloud to safely push the opponent away and apply the Shock State debuff to them, making all of Kai's special moves deal increased chip damage and have stronger properties on hit and block. As mentioned, Kai's buttons are good. His 2S is a fast, long-reaching low that checks the opponent's movement like a charm, and his far slash complements it perfectly by having shorter range and slower startup, but better dash momentum preservation and a longer disjoint suitable for counterplay. Kai's 6H is a slow but reliable tool in neutral that crushes 6Ps for massive damage near the wall. And his own 6P is a high-class counterpoke for mids and aerial attacks. Kai also has a very reliable ground and air fireball that keeps opponents from getting too comfortable from a range and coaxes them into making critical mistakes that he can exploit. Finally, Kai has Stun Dipper, and let's be real, if there's one move you're playing this character for, this is it. A frame 5 advancing low that goes across nearly half the screen and scores a soft knockdown on hit. Doesn't sound too impressive on paper, but in practice, Stun Dipper is one of the most oppressive, defining neutral tools in the entire game, and stands as a consistent looming threat for the opponent every single step they take. Now, I'm sure you already understand that Kai's neutral is good, but what if I told you we haven't even scratched the surface of how terrifying this character can actually be here? The truth is, I've only told you half the story, because Kai's neutral on its own is strong, sure, but with 50 meter, you might as well be facing down a god. Stun Dipper goes from being a strong but low damage neutral check into a full combo or pressure starter from anywhere on the screen with 50 meter. His average reward pokes now can take you from corner to corner with either his exceptionally versatile RC combos or his Ride the Lightning super, the super with the single biggest corner carry in the entire game. And coolest of all, if Kai is low on health, he can activate Dragon Install. Dragon Install is a powerful buff that lasts the entire rest of the round and grants Kai power-ups to every single one of his special moves. DI Kai threatens everything normal Kai does, but with higher damage, better offense, better neutral, better everything. However, it can be incredibly tricky to find a situation where you can both enter Dragon Install and not immediately die for it right after. Outside of neutral, Kai's defense is also strong. He is a DP like Soul, but no overwhelmingly strong mash-out option like Soul's 5k. Unfortunately, Kai's biggest weakness is his offense. Kai lacks strong mid-screen damage like Soul has no naturally plus normals outside of 6k, a slow and admittedly gimmicky block string reset, and doesn't have an exceptionally powerful throw or any meterless mix-up options to make the opponent really want to mash on his frame traps at all. His Oki is serviceable. After a knockdown, Charge Stun Edge allows Kai to get an enforced standard strike throw free, but there is little incentive for the opponent to not simply block Kai out from neutral, meaning if Kai wants to keep the advantage, he must go for shimmies and frequent throws to make the opponent scramble on defense, all of which could easily end his turn if the opponent guesses right. If this doesn't bother you, then Kai Kiske is an exceptional pick thanks to his best-in-class neutral and strong defense, and with powerful checkmate tools like Stun Dipper RC, you'll be sure to shock your opponent when you slide across the screen for a quick and easy victory.
On themselves, they blame the beasts.
Mei is the adorable, sea life-loving first mate of the Jellyfish Pirates, and she's here to let you know, looks can be deceiving. Underneath this adorable exterior lies a beast, hungry for raw strength, domination, and pure, unbridled rage, the likes of which even the most seasoned players could not hope to escape.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Mei knows two things, dolphins and damage. Mei is the single highest damaging character in the entire game, with the ability to easily touch of death just about anyone in the game off the right hit, and has ridiculously practical ways of doing so to boot. Mei's combos are also almost entirely unburstable, meaning even if you have your burst to escape a combo, you're going to eat upwards of 40% of your life bar before you get that escape opportunity, if not even more damage. Mei's offense is not just strong because of the threat of high damage. She has some incredibly potent offensive tools to help her get those hits too. Her close slash is incredibly plus, builds lots of risk, and sets her up to frame trap with a number of different attacks. From almost any normal, she can frame trap into 6H, which is her big damage dealer. This is an anchor swing that can be released early to frame trap the opponent, or held to guard crush them and reset the block string with some plus frames. If she's out of range for this, no worry. Mr. Dolphin Horizontal also serves as a reset and frame trap tool, with the S version frame trapping off any hit and the H version being mashable but leaving her at +7. Both of these moves, as in the theme with Mei's kit, kill your opponent on counter hit, so they better not be wrong. As if all that wasn't enough, Mei also has a fast command overhead in 6k that can be RC'd for huge damage, and a high damaging command grab that nets her a combo on hit. If Mei ever finds herself out of options on offense, no worry. She has a number of eject buttons including Mr. Dolphin Vertical, her jump, and her incredible backdash to proc the opponent into starting to move again, at which point, return to neutral and rinse repeat. Speaking of neutral, did you really think Mei would be lacking there? Turns out, having a full screen rushing special move that kills you on counter hit available at any time you have back charge is actually pretty strong and makes it really hard to play against her even just standing there. And her 5H serves as an incredible counter poke to stop opponents from pressing buttons into the way of where her dolphins might be heading from. Mei can also convert into soft knockdowns from almost all her pokes thanks to 3k being fast enough to combo in from jabs and her kick normals. But even then, that's not all Mei has to offer. Mei has, without a doubt, one of the best jumps in the game, with insane height, speed, fall speed, air stalls, and air normals. Her JD gives her what can basically be seen as infinite extra double jumps that she can use for as long as she can stay up in the sky. JS is a great approaching air normal that beats almost every anti-air in the game, including 6p thanks to its low-reaching hurtbox. JH is a huge air-to-air swing that stops anyone trying to meet her in the sky, and J2H stops her momentum dead for strong left-right mix-ups and variations of her landing position. Really, the only thing of Mei's you could call a weakness is her reliance on RPS. Most of Mei's offense can be interacted with by the opponent, and if Mei gets the answer wrong, they get out for free. But, then again, if Mei is right, they take way more damage than she ever would have. So, I'll leave you to fill in the details. Mei can also do less damage on normal hit than average, needing meter, a counter hit, or the corner for her cash outs. But, again, you've seen what her cash outs look like. Hardly an issue. If you don't mind rolling the dice every now and then and find it cathartic to watch your opponent's jaw drop as you turn their life bar to dust, Mei is the perfect character for you. You sicko.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society. So instead of reflecting on themselves, they blamed the beasts. Axl Low.
Axl Low, Guilty Gear's resident zoner, is a cunning fighter who'd rather keep his distance from the opponent than get up close and personal. For Axl, the name of the game is screen control, and boy does he have it in spades. Axl's normals cover wide areas of the screen and reach farther than any other buttons in the game, allowing him to attack the opponent from way outside of the range where they can fight back, forcing them to get aggressive and run directly into the source of the danger. Luckily, Axl has more than his long-range normals to keep these opponents at bay. He also has incredible mid-range tools in his K-normals, an extremely quick far slash, and Rainwater, a backflipping special move that deals great damage to any opponent unfortunate enough to run into it. These tools help Axl keep an opponent who gets up to that mid-range scared of his neutral presence, and if Axl successfully lands a hit at any of these ranges, he can convert into simple knockdowns using Snail or Rensen to deal a little bit of damage and push the opponent back to full screen to try again. Axl's Rensen is a dominating tool at full screen, which forces the opponent to take some chip damage and eat risk before starting their approach, making each of Axl's mid-range hits feel more impactful, and its follow-ups can mix up an opponent that might be too gung-ho on getting in, using Rensen 8 to catch a jumping opponent, 2 to catch an opponent who swings themselves at you, Winter Cherry to catch a dashing opponent, and delayed Winter Cherry to do extra damage and chip to one who stays put. On top of that, Axl has a full screen command grab that he can use once he's conditioned the opponent to block Rensen on a full screen wake up, but the command grab is slow and as such shouldn't be used frequently. Now, you might think Axl's weakness is his defense, but you'd be wrong. Axl lacks a DP, sure, but his 2K is the single strongest 5-frame in the game and has incredible speed and low profile, making it quite tricky to run offense against the guy. So, surely it's his damage then, right? Nope. While Axl's damage is low off long-range hits, Axl can pull off some incredible numbers off of hits such as Rainwater or any jump cancelable normal near the corner thanks to his strong Rainwater and Bomber loop combos. Is it his offense? Well, sort of. It's true that Axl doesn't have amazing offense and can be blocked out pretty easily, but what does Axl care about his block string ending and him going back to zoning you? If he wants you close, he can use Rainwater to reset with plus frames, and his JH with meter can be used as a quick overhead to catch crouching opponents. You see, Axl's real weakness is commitment. When I was explaining Axl's normals, I wouldn't blame you for asking yourself how could Axl not just be better than Kai in that regard. They both want to control the neutral, and Axl's moves go much farther. Surely that's just better. In some degrees, yes, but where Kai excels that Axl struggles is commitment. Kai's normals are not only quick to start, but quick to recover. Axl has no such luxury. His buttons have some of the longest total duration in the entire game and are all very disadvantageous on block, meaning one good callout on Axl's next move can give the opponent the opening they need to hit him and win the round. While this weakness can initially be hard to overcome, the power of Axl's normals cannot be understated. If you want a character who zones in style, keeps the screen under his control, and punishes anyone who dares approach with reckless abandon, then say hi to Axl Low. Oh well, Annie is a time stop super. You know you think this is sick.
Chipp Zanuff.
Chipp Zanuff, the Godspeed Ninja, is a pixie character who prides himself on being a jack of all trades, master of most of them. Chipp excels in his speed in particular, sporting the fastest dash in the game, a triple jump, a wall run, 2 different dive kicks, and an incredibly quick air dash. All of this makes it extremely difficult to challenge Chipp in neutral and catch him as he swoops across the entire screen like a hawk, or alternatively, a particularly annoying fly. However, this fly bites, and he bites down hard thanks to his exceptional offense and consistent reward off the openings he secures. Chipp's 5K is one of the game's most egregious pressure tools, as it's allowed to chain into itself, cancel into many strong frame traps, and leave minimal gaps when adding microdashes into the mix, making it extremely hard to escape even layer 1 of Chipp's pressure. Once you get past the 5K and the frame traps following, Chipp has a series of rekkas that keep the offense going for additional resets of frame traps, and the only way out is to somehow guess exactly which one of the multiple reset choices he'll try to steal his turn back on, or call his bluff and block the entire string out. But wait, there's more! Chipp also has Gamma Blade, a challenging to react to plus on block reset tool that makes all of this even scarier, and a ton of mix-up options that can be done from pressure such as his command grab, his Alpha Blade, which hits cross-up, his 6K, which hits overhead, and his incredibly fast dash throw. Once Chipp gets a hit and scores a knockdown, his offense only gets stronger, as now before you do all of that, you have to hold an unreactable mix-up or two thanks to his ambiguous cross-up air dashes and unique wall-running mix-ups. It only becomes more scary when you consider that Chipp builds meter extremely efficiently and can spend it to convert almost every one of these hits into a corner-to-corner wall break. Chipp's neutral is also excellent due to his incredibly high dash speed and fast normals, making him a champion whiff punisher, and even if he's late, he can still apply pressure on block with his Rekkas. He does have a unique weakness in neutral that should be mentioned, and that is his struggle with fast low attacks, such as a good low profile 2K. Chipp's long-range counterpoking normals all either get low-profiled, or are slow enough that unless Chipp gets a good read on the opponent, they will likely end up being able to block the incoming attack, meaning Chipp has to rely on quick whiff punishes or air approaches to beat these attacks, which is easier said than done considering the low recovery that is typical of a crouching kick. On defense, Chipp also excels, sporting both a 3-frame and a DP, just like Saul. All in all, Chipp has excellent offense, defense, neutral, combos, and mobility, but lacks one important thing that keeps him from being completely overpowered: HP. Chipp has the single lowest base HP in the game, and a few of his key tools put him at risk of eating huge combos. His DP is massively disadvantageous on block and counter hit recovery, and his Gamma Blade can be attacked by the opponent. What does that mean? Well, Chipp can be hit by an attack while doing Gamma Blade. The Gamma Blade can also be hit by an attack. So this is what that means. If being an absolute unstoppable powerhouse that dominates the game until you're swatted like a fly appeals to you, then learn the ways of the ninja with Chipp Zanuff.
暇つぶしにもなんねえ。